Hey guys, it's Will. So KULR stock might just be the underdog in the space exploration that nobody's talking about. And this is such an innovative company that is revolutionizing thermal management technology, which is a critical component for space missions. And we traded Rocket Lab this morning. I think that there's a lot of big players that are in this, but KULR is a smaller player that's getting some key partnerships and it's putting them on the map in the race to space exploration. So guys, if you want to watch me trade KULR and you want to find more hidden gems like these stocks, make sure to check out that second link down below to watch me trade live each day at Market Open. Let's get into this stock here. So the first thing I want to cover is that when you're considering any stock, there's three things we look at, right? We look at the market, we look at the analysis, and then we look at the financials. Now, we're in the aerospace industry right here in kind of the battery tech space, which in 2025 is one of the best places to be. So we're in a really good spot as far as market. This looks really good. Now, when we look on the chart, guys, just a little while ago, this stock was at 74 cents, literally last month or about a month and a half ago. If you look at where it pushed up to $3.50 the other day before selling off to $2.75, what it's at right now, we can look at this stock as one of the explosive stocks of 2024. I mean, this is one of the biggest gains towards the end of the year. And when we look at the trend that we've seen develop, it looks like it is starting to trend upwards, but it's looking pretty volatile. And so that's why I had these previous levels. It's funny, guys, I actually recorded a whole video on this KULR stock like 10 minutes ago and it didn't record. Let me just double check that I'm actually recording. Yes, it's recording, because I broke this all down. So now you guys get like the full breakdown, right? There are some levels we identified, previous resistance, some consolidation that it could drop to. And then, but the good news is every time that it's established this resistance, it's pushed above it. Established resistance here, it pushed above it, and it starts using it as support. And we see that happen here. Previous resistance acting as support right here around $2.70. And that's indication that we're going to see it continue its upward direction. Now, if we see it continue that upward direction, we'd be looking at what would be a 40% increase. That is in the near term, kind of the closer term for KULR stock. The longer term potential could actually be much greater. And I'm going to be kind of breaking down the analysis so you guys will get what I mean here in a second. But when we look at the risk, it looks like it's holding its trend. If it drops below this previous resistance, we could see it drop 3 or 4% down to what would be 260. And then if it does break below that and it doesn't hold this support, we could see it go down to 230. And then the next level, if it didn't hold there, it would be $2. 230 might be healthy. So you can see this trend would look a little more developed, but it's possible that it does continue up from here. But I could see it selling off even down to 230 from a chart perspective. So that's kind of the first piece that we're looking at here. Okay, so when we look at KULR stock and we look at today, it's down 5%. On the 5-day, it's up 82%. So it's been crushing it for the past 5 days. And if we look at the news, I searched rockets, carbon fiber. I mean, Neutron is one from Rocket Lab, which is huge. You might say, why are we looking at carbon fiber rockets? Well, KULR, they actually work in the carbon fiber space. So if we look, one of the things that they do that I think is one of the most interesting things, aside from their batteries, is they're working on fiber thermal interface, which is basically thermally conductive carbon fiber material. So why is this important? Well, carbon fiber is super lightweight and it's also really strong. And so a lot of the innovations in aerospace are being built with carbon fiber. Especially you could look at Neutron rocket that's coming here with Rocket Lab. They're building a carbon fiber rocket. Okay, not carbon composite, not fully carbon fiber, but it's the type of material that is being used in a lot of advancing space and aerospace tech. And this company, we got into the chart. We're going to be looking here at the news, and we'll go into the financials which are quite interesting. But this fiber thermal conductive setup here means that we have high temperature tolerance for harsh working conditions. We got thermal stability and reliability, and we have increased overall product performance. Okay, so this is one of the biggest things with KULR. But when we look at their company, and you kind of look at their partnerships, this is the other thing. You see them working in battery solutions, which is great. You can see thermal management. You got a rocket emoji, which is awesome. And we go down the news here. But when we look at some of their partnerships, they are working with Lockheed Martin. Okay, they're working with Lockheed Martin. They're working with NASA. Okay, and check this out. They just signed a deal, a service agreement to launch KULR One space batteries with, guess what company? SpaceX. So they're the leader in advanced energy management platforms, proudly announces its plans to launch KULR One space via launch integrator ExoLaunch on a SpaceX rideshare mission scheduled for 2026. So this mission represents a pivotal milestone for KULR's ongoing commitment to developing safer and higher performing battery systems tailored for space applications. For space battery market is expected to grow from 3.9 billion to 6.3 billion by 2030, which I think is an underestimate, especially considering the market growth that we're seeing. That seems a little conservative even. Now, why? Well, you can look utilization of cells. So they're building these batteries on a cell level and optimizing batteries on a cell level. You can see for LG, Samsung, and others. But also you see them working with NASA. And then on top of that, now with SpaceX, this is a huge deal. It's like as soon as we saw T-Mobile sign with Starlink to launch satellites with SpaceX, T-Mobile stock went parabolic. It went crazy. And so we just saw AMD sign with SpaceX that they're creating all of the chips, the Versal semiconductor chips that are powering the satellites for Starlink in their newest launches. And so AMD stock is already starting to see a surge up. I have a bunch of call options on AMD for March, from now until March. I got them last Friday, and I guess I bought right at the bottom because right now they're just continuing up. It's great. Now, I think that's going to happen in the future for AMD. I think it could happen here for KULR, which is really good news. And so these are some of the things you want to look for. I don't know that everybody knows this. I mean, this just happened in the last 5 days. So we don't know that this is really going to continue for a long time, that this stock is going to be this undervalued. Now, still 80% increase in the last 5 days, it could be volatile. Again, we could see it sell off down to 228, but those are the news and the chart. They're looking very bullish, very bullish. Now let's just take a look at the financials. And this is the part that actually surprised me the most. A couple things. Market cap is small, so we're going to see fluctuations that are going to be great. And by great, I don't mean always good. I mean, it's going to be volatile. $594 million market cap is a fairly small company. So we could see that, really impact some of the swings. But let's take a look at the financials, because this is something that I don't think we see a lot of times, especially with aerospace, with AI or quantum computing. A lot of time it's like, do they have deals? For example, quantum computing, they might not have revenue because, are they actually making partnerships that those quantum computers can make a difference in those businesses? A stock like Rigetti that we went over earlier, they partner with Microsoft and with Amazon, and that's a really good deal for Rigetti. So their quantum computer company will do well. Now, when we look at a company like KULR, you'd be asking the same question. Are they going to be positive in their cash flow? A lot of aerospace companies aren't, unless they're making partnerships, which they made with Lockheed Martin. You see with SpaceX, you see that with NASA, and I think they're going to work with Rocket Lab, especially if they're doing carbon fiber. I mean, that's literally what Rocket Lab is based on. A lot of what they do is in that carbon composite makeup for their rockets. So anyway, when we look at their financials, okay, news looks great. That's basically the point. News looks great. But when we look at their financials, the net income, -$2 million a year, still a 63% year-over-year increase, which is great. Revenue looks good, up 4%. Profit margins up 65% year over year. Operating income up 66%. Cost of revenue down a little bit. So overall, these financials, they actually look pretty good. I mean, I don't see a lot of aerospace companies that are growing profit margins, are increasing their net income, and negative 2 million is like nothing when you look at a lot of aerospace companies that are out there today. So that's great. That's really looking good. They missed their earnings a lot of 2023, 2024 until June, and then into September, they beat their earnings by 50%, revenue by 32% on the expected. And so earnings per share and revenue look good. Financials looking good. So just to kind of overview, we went over a lot of things here today. The chart has some volatility. We could see some sell-offs. It will be volatile for the near term. On the longer term, things look better. And I would consider looking at it as more of a longer term play, but there will be opportunities to play the shorter term. The news, it looks great. And the financials looked good as well. So could also see them working with Rocket Lab. I think that would be a catalyst for sure. So anyway, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. If you guys want to watch me trade live each day at Market Open, it's that second link down below. And you can get started for just $1 a day to crush it here in 2025. This is one of the coolest markets to be looking at in 2025. And I look forward to seeing some more wins in StockMate. We got to trade today some quantum computing stocks as well as Rocket Lab. And I think we're up quite a bit, maybe 10+% for sure on the portfolio. And so I'd love to see it. Everybody's growing, and it's a great time to look at this stuff. So again, it's that second link down below if you guys would like to join. See you guys in the next video. Take care.